I appreciate you all being here on a very distressing night in Sydney. At approximately 6:47 this evening, two individuals began firing on a crowded group of families on Bondi Beach at Archer Park. This cowardly act of terrifying violence is shocking and painful to see and represents some of our worst fears about terrorism in Sydney. I very sadly need to report that as of now, there are at least 12 individuals that have been killed. One of the offenders has also been killed and one is in custody. This attack was designed to target Sydney's Jewish community on the first day of Hanukkah. What should have been a night of peace and joy celebrated in that community with families and supporters has been shattered by this horrifying, evil attack. Commissioner Lanyon will speak about the investigation, the police response, as well as the designation of this attack as a terrorism event in Sydney. I can assure the community it will be met with a massive, comprehensive police and public order response. Our heart bleeds for Australia's Jewish community tonight. I can only imagine the pain that they're feeling right now to see their loved ones killed as they celebrate this ancient holiday. It's the responsibility of all Australians to wrap their arms around Australia's Jewish community and help them get through this incredibly difficult period. This is a massive, complex and just beginning investigation. It's just begun, and there are things that tonight we don't have the answers to. However, we do have answers to some crucial pieces of information for our wonderful city and our beautiful state. The first one is the outpouring of love and support from ordinary Australians for Australia's Jewish community is real. Secondly, today is another example of the enormous pressure and responsibility, the danger that New South Wales Police regularly face as part of their job. They do it without faltering. They didn't falter today. We need them. And thirdly, tonight saw extraordinary acts of personal courage and bravery from individuals in our community. And I think it's worth remembering that in all of this evil, in all of this sadness, there are still wonderful, brave Australians that are prepared to risk their lives to help a complete stranger. Mel?
Thank you, Premier. Good evening. Premier has outlined the brief circumstances this evening. I'll go through them again. They're more than happy to take some questions. About 6:47 p.m. this evening, police started to receive a number of reports of shots fired at Archer Park at Bondi. Archer Park is a grassed area just north of the Bondi Pavilion. Police responded promptly. Unfortunately, at least 12 people are deceased at this time. 29 people have been transported to various hospitals around the Sydney area, including 2 police officers. The condition of those officers and the other transported are serious, but there is a range of conditions. Our thoughts, prayers and love go to all the families and all of those that were involved tonight. We know that there were many people there to celebrate a happy occasion, the celebration of Hanukkah, and there was well over 1,000 people there when this took place. As a result of the circumstances of the incident tonight, at 9:36 p.m. this evening, I declared this to be a terrorist incident. I have also authorised special powers under Section 5 and Section 6 to ensure that if there is a third offender, and we are currently investigating that at the moment, we will make sure that we prevent any further activity. Section 6 allows us to investigate today's incident. There is a massive police response, and I think as journalists you have seen how quickly and promptly the police responded. I'm incredibly proud of the professionalism of our police and emergency service responders. They have done a fantastic job. Unfortunately, it's only several years ago that Bondi occurred, at Bondi Junction. We have learnt a lot from that, and tonight ambulance and police and other emergency responders acted promptly and professionally to do a great job there. We will have a significant investigation. Our Counter-Terrorism Command will lead this investigation with investigators from the State Crime Command. No stone will be left unturned. This type of disgraceful activity, this wanton use of violence, the taking of innocent lives is unacceptable to New South Wales. It's not our way of life. I've been very clear since I've been the Commissioner that as a police force, we won't stand for this type of violence. I'm personally offended. You have seen that the police have already taken prompt action. The Premier has mentioned one of the offenders is deceased, the second one is in serious condition at hospital. We will focus to ensure that there is no further threat to the public. Could I ask, but this is a time of calm. This is a time where I want to make sure that there is no retribution. The police are investigating thoroughly. We have acted promptly. We have taken decisive action. Could I just ask for calm in the community? Allow the police to do our job. We will work closely with community and I'll continue to provide updates about the investigation as they go on. Thank you. I'll hand over to the Minister and then happy to take questions. Sorry.
Do we have an age range of the victims? Obviously it's early days, but of those deceased?
No, very early, sir. I don't have those details at the moment. As you can imagine, there has been a fair dislocation. The ambulance service responded brilliantly. They've had to convey people right around the city to numerous hospitals. So at this stage, we don't have those details.
Commissioner, there's the 12 people.
Sorry, can I just ask one at a time? Sorry.
Commissioner, do you have any intelligence about the two shooters?
We're working through that at the moment. Obviously, part of the declaration is because I have information about the deceased shooter. It's not something I'm prepared to give at the moment. It will be part of the investigation, but we will work tirelessly through our Counter-Terrorism Command to make sure we investigate all of the circumstances.
Commissioner, the 12 people that are deceased, do they include the gunman that is deceased, or is the gunman additional to that 12?
We've set up the 12 deceased at the moment. This is a really fluid situation. I would like to provide more certainty, but certainly the numbers that we are talking at the moment include the gunman.
Were any children among the deceased?
At this stage, I don't believe so. However, I do believe that a child was transported to hospital. Again, I don't want to give information that turns out to be incorrect. It is very early. We know that there has been a number of people turn up to hospital. We've had 29 others transported, and we know people are still turning up there.
What gives you reason to think there might be a third gunman?
Unfortunately, in these sort of circumstances, we get information from a range of areas. We tend to be as safe as we possibly can so that we know that we have two definite offenders, but we want to make sure the community is safe. So we will run down this investigation. The reason that we have so many investigators out tonight is we can make sure that that happens. The fact that we've declared this as a terrorist incident, we've provided special powers, is to make sure that we prevent any further. I cannot confirm there is a third offender, but I want to make sure there's no stone left unturned.
Some news outlets are reporting a home in Bondi Beach being raided. Can you confirm that?
No, I'm well aware on social media that an identity of a person believed to be one of the gunmen has been circulated there. When I ask for calm, that is really important. This is not a time for retribution. This is a time to allow the police to do their duty. So police are responding to make sure that all of the community is safe. That is our role.
What can you tell us about public order riots, squad officers raiding homes? Is that happening right now?
What I'd say to you is that we have police right around the city at the moment to make sure that all of the community is safe. I don't want to go into too much specific activity. Our job is to respond to intelligence we get, respond to information, but make sure the community is safe. So unashamedly, we do have a lot of public order and riot squad and other police out on the streets at the moment to make sure there is calm. This disgraceful act will not go unpunished. Sorry, one question.
Were there any additional police resources around the Bondi area or Dover Heights in case there was any problems?
There certainly were police patrolling that area. We were well aware and we worked closely with the Jewish community in terms of Hanukkah. The Jewish community has its own security group that we work very closely with, so there were police present. The fact there was such prompt action taken demonstrates the police were present.
Is there still an active threat tonight?
Sorry?
Is there still an active threat?
No, what I've said before is that we are aware definitely of two offenders at the moment. One of those is deceased, one is in hospital at the moment. We want to investigate thoroughly so that if there is a third offender or any other people are linked to this matter, we will investigate them and take action against them.
What intelligence do you have about this third person? Was he there with a gun? Is he outside of the area? What intelligence do you have? I think people need calm and worried that there's someone on the run still.
It's way too early to give that information. The community can be very reassured that the police responded quickly. The police have responded in numbers. We have a significant investigation underway at the moment. We will be following all people linked to those gunmen that we know, and we'll take action to keep the community safe. The community can rest assured that the police will take positive action to keep them safe.
What weapons were used and were they sourced illegally? And what can you tell us about the improvised explosive device found under the bridge?
It's way too early to give any description of the firearms other than to say that they were long arms. Where they came from, their background, how they came to be in possession of the offenders, it's too early to say. As part of the investigation and shortly after the shooting occurred, police located a vehicle in Campbell Parade at Bondi, which we believe has several improvised explosive devices. We have our rescue bomb disposal unit there at the moment working on that.
What is the latest on that?
It's still underway at the moment.
Are they
Were any of
viable
these
devices or?
It's too early to say that. As I said, we've got our rescue and bomb disposal unit there. They will take the appropriate action. They're experts in their field.
Were either of the two individuals, the deceased and the one in custody, known to authorities before this evening?
Only little on the offender that's deceased at the moment. I won't go into their background. That's obviously part of the investigation. Certainly form part of my consideration as whether to consider this to be a terrorist event.
Were any of the gunmen licensed to hold firearms, and do we know whether they were known to ASIO or New South Wales Police?
It's too early in that investigation.
Why did you declare it a terrorist attack?
There was a range of circumstances. Obviously, the fact that it's the first day of Hanukkah, the types of weapons, the offenders, some of the other items we found at the scene. As I said, we have found an improvised explosive device in a car, which is linked to the deceased offender. So there's a range of circumstances, and obviously the Jewish community has a right to feel safe. We will take serious action.
Commissioner, you knew about the gun that was deceased. How did you miss this attack? No.
I don't even think that's a reasonable question. What I said is that we are aware of the person. That does not mean there was any specific threat posed by that person. If the police had had intelligence that there was a risk to the community or to this event, we would have taken significant action. This is a tragic event. This is not the time to be pointing the finger. There will be a thorough investigation. My main focus is to make sure that the community feels safe and know that the police are there to support them and keep them safe.
Commissioner, how can two people with guns, improvised explosive devices in a car, organise something like this, potentially with a third person, and police do not know that it's coming?
Well, I think if you think about the size of the community here, our police do a fantastic job. Day in, day out, you see the work that we do to prevent crimes happening. We need intelligence to actually do that. As I said, the person that we know has very, very little knowledge to the police. So he's not someone that we would have automatically been looking at this time.
What can you tell us about the two injured police officers? Do you have their ranks? Has anyone been able to speak to them?
I wouldn't want to provide those details at the moment. We've obviously got next of kin coming down. Their loved ones will be with them. I want to make sure that they have some time in peace before we do. It's too early to provide that information.
Do you have a condition report at all?
Serious, verging on critical, and both are in surgery on top.
Commissioner, I understand a rabbi is among those who've been killed. Can you confirm that?
I can't confirm that, sorry.
This might be one for the Premier. Have you spoken to the Prime Minister, and is there any indication the national terror threat level will be raised?
I have spoken to the Prime Minister. I'll leave that up to him to inform the public of. But he offered all the support to New South Wales, and we both reflected on how shocking and terrifying this evil attack was.
Premier, what would you say to people who are scared right now?
Look, I understand that. This is a shocking event. It's not common in Australia, and it's all the more shocking because of that. What I can say is that there will be a comprehensive police response. Anything New South Wales Police needs in terms of resources, we will provide them. If there's changes that need to be made, we will do that immediately. I mean, we need to be in a situation where we're sending a clear and unambiguous message to the Jewish community, in fact every Australian that lives in this state, that these horrible acts of violence will never be tolerated, and anyone who perpetrates them we will throw the book at. Anyone who's thinking about it will be thoroughly investigated. This is a terrible night for Sydney, but I think it's important to say we can't let these evil people divide Australia up. We need to be in a situation where, as shocking as this is, there are still wonderful people in the Bondi community right throughout New South Wales. That's what these terrorists want. They want Australians divided and at each other's throats, and we can't let that happen. In fact, we won't let that happen.
Premier, at least two people, potentially three, have worked together to organise a mass shooting event with shotguns at Bondi Beach. There's been IEDs in a car planted nearby. Further to what I asked the Commissioner, has there been a failure here? Has there been a failure in intelligence or policing?
Look, I mean, I think in the circumstances, it's reasonable that both the government and the police conduct an investigation. There will be, of course, a full inquiry. But when you're looking at several hours after this horrifying event, it's important that police focus on community safety right now and ensuring that the immediate vicinity is locked down, that the public, those who've been injured, are transported to hospital, and that there's not an immediate ongoing threat. There'll be plenty of times for a thorough investigation, and I can assure the public that that will take place. But we need to let the police do their job tonight.
Is there any intelligence shared from the Australian Federal Police?
I'm not going to get into that.
Is there any information to the motive of the offenders beyond it being a terrorist incident?
No, I mean, the fact that it was the first day of Hanukkah, that there were Jewish families celebrating as a community in Bondi, it's shocking and terrible and self-evidently a terrorist act.
The police operation is still continuing around Bondi, obviously. I mean, it is getting late for some people. Will schools be open in that area tomorrow? Practically, what should people be thinking about tomorrow? Like still staying home, staying out of that area? What is the advice for people?
My understanding is that private schools are closed tomorrow. The end of the year has already begun for many of the private schools, particularly in Sydney's eastern suburbs. But the government schools, the Secretary Murat Disda is looking at options for those communities. We'll communicate that as soon as possible. If you're a parent, particularly in that community, please look at your school social media account in the morning to work out whether schooling's going ahead or not. Police, it's obviously an ongoing situation. Police need to provide security, but if we can put in place a situation where there's not many sites, then that'd be a good thing tomorrow morning.
Mr. Minns, you've spoken about the bravery on the beach tonight. What are your thoughts on, there's a video of a member of the public wrestling one of the guns?
Unbelievable. I think it's the most unbelievable scene I've ever seen. A man walking up to a gunman who had fired on the community and single-handedly disarming him, putting his own life at risk to save the lives of countless other people. That man is a genuine hero, and I've got no doubt that there are many, many people alive tonight as a result of his bravery.
Please confirm, is the man whose body home has been raided, is he the person who is deceased?
I won't confirm that at the moment. All I'll say is that we're aware there is a social media post. I'd have to ask for people to remain calm at the moment.
And I understand that there's 3 people clearly visible in one of the videos. Is that third person the one that you are still trying to locate?
What I've said is we have confirmed there were definitely 2 offenders. We are investigating now to identify whether there was a third offender. Often in these sort of situations, a lot of things happen at once. You can imagine the chaos that was down there, the fear that were in members of the public there. We need to make sure that we get this information right. The fact that we've taken a positive step by declaring it as a terrorist event, providing special powers for investigations, shows how serious we are about making sure we investigate this thoroughly.
If you're worried, Commissioner, is there potentially a third gunman on the run?
I think what I've said at the moment is we have confirmed 2, but I think the community should be very assured that the police are so thorough in New South Wales. We want to make sure that if there is any threat, we are aware of it and we take action to prevent.
We'll take a couple more. The police obviously have to get on.
Can you tell us about the victims in terms of age, gender, anything like that, about 12?
No, sorry, I was asked that one earlier. It's too early at this stage to provide those details.
How many police resources outside of Bondi have been put into this?
Sorry?
How many police resources outside of the scene in Bondi have been put onto this investigation?
We'll put as many police officers as are required to investigate that matter. I've already indicated we have a significant presence from our counter-terrorism command, from our state crime command, and for all of the police area commands around Sydney. We'll put as many police as required. It is that serious, and the community, I want to feel safe.
James, last one, yes.
I was one more now. Ask Minister.
Did you say something about? Please.
You're deploying extra resources from Victoria Police, is that correct? Are we stripped of our resources here because it's such a large scale event?
No, I think what it is, we will look for whatever resources. So it may well be if there's a specialist resource that we require we don't have. We are an incredibly capable police force. We have the capability and the resources to investigate this sort of matter. It is not unusual at all but for police forces to seek assistance and work with other police forces. As you can imagine, I've had offers from every police commissioner around Australia tonight to provide any assistance they can. That is what the policing family is like. That is our role. We're here to keep the community safe.
Minister, has there been anything that the police have asked the executive government for in terms of extra funding, extra powers, extra manpower on the ground? Has that come to you?
As has been said by the Premier, we're just a few hours into this investigation, but let me be very clear. The government will provide the police with what they need to continue this investigation, for it to be thorough, and for the people of New South Wales to have the confidence in the New South Wales Police doing their job. Thank you all very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.